This is a Kawasaki Concours 2009 ZG14, I believe. Here is where the fuel filler used to go. I've got a rag in here. Always stuff a rag in there. If you're working on, it's got a blocked fuel drain. So what happens is when you overfill this, it goes over top. It goes down this hole. There's a tube that goes inside the tank all the way down, and it comes out right back here. There's another vent, this one here, and that's for your fuel cap. And if you look underneath, there's a little nipple here, and when you push the cap down, it goes into that little rubber piece which sits in that hole. Okay, so anyway, so there's two hoses on tanks generally, and this could be a C14 or a V-Strom or an, you know, whatever. It doesn't really matter. These are mostly the same. So this one is for the vent of the tank. So when it uses all the fuel and it goes down, it doesn't create a vacuum in the tank. So it has to breathe, but yet retain the fuel in the tank. It can't be sloshing out, obviously, while you're riding it. That goes without saying. On the C14, that's this one. And the hose goes all the way down, and it goes to around the shifter, somewhere down there. It doesn't really matter. There's a hose. If you have a blocked hose, first of all, make sure whether it's a rubber hose or it's the tube going all the way through the tank. So what happens is there's a tube that comes into here and goes inside the tank, and it spits it out back here. And this is welded. These are welded at both ends at the factory, or brazed, or whatever they do. Usually brazed, because it's thin gauge metal, it's hard to weld. So anyways, whatever, it doesn't matter. So this one here is also not only for the overflow, but it's also for water. So when you wash the bike or you leave it in the rain pools on top. And the problem is that twofold. One, when you open the tank, you get water ingress into your fuel, which is not good. The other thing is when this gets blocked up with dust or crud or whatever, it'll fill up with water, and then it'll start rusting that little tube in the tank. And then what happens is the gas can go into the tube, and then you have a leaky tank. In a pinch, in an emergency, if you're on the road, you could put a rubber fuel line over it, put a bolt in the back, hose clamps. It's kind of Mickey Mouse, but it would seal off your tank from flowing gasoline everywhere. So that's an option. But the better option is to do maintenance on this hole. So if you see it's not draining, what I've done is I have an old tachometer cable or speedometer cable or whatever it is, an old broken one. I've put it on a drill, and I've mushed up the end a bit so it's a bit abrasive, because what happened is there was rust in here and the water couldn't drain out. Old speedometer cable, tachometer cable on old school motorcycles, you can still find them on modern, you know, Enduros, DR650, KLR 650s, that sort of thing. And it's important to keep this drain clean and free flowing. And then I also use compressed air, and when you put the air to it now, there, it comes right out along with a bunch of goop. If you fail to keep this clean, it'll get blocked up, and what happens is it just compacts with rust. The water sits in there, and it's really thin gauge, the tube, and then it starts rotting. And then every time, and two, even if you don't have gas flowing out because it's so blocked up, every time it rains you'll be getting water in the tank, and your bike will run like crap, and it's trying to run on water, and it doesn't work very well. So anyways, this is pretty common on modern motorcycles, fuel-injected motorcycles. Be aware of that. And if you need it cleaned, try the little tachometer trick on a drill, and that works really well actually. And I used just a little squirt of this brake cleaner, choke and carb clean it's called, and I let it sit, and that really worked well. So anyways, hope that helps somebody out there with their clogged up drain. No end to the content, that's for sure, with these motorcycles. They're always coming through. Take care. I'll catch up with you next time. Ciao.